Today is March 27th, 2025. My name is Melissa Ackerman, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Cathy Barker for our JFS 75th anniversary compilation. How are you today, Cathy?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
When were you hired?
2010.
For what position?
I was hired for the Assistant Executive Director position. It was a brand new position the board had put together to help Michael Fleischer with all kinds of things.
Okay. And what is your title now?
I am the President and Chief Executive Officer.
Okay. Why did you go to work for JFS?
So my background is I was a licensed professional counselor, and so I had worked in mental health services.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I was a mental health counselor for years, and then had made a segue into nonprofit work. And at the time, when I had applied for this position, I was actually doing some consulting work and had worked a little more in development side and fundraising. I was writing grants. Saw the posting, and when I came to meet with Michael Fleischer, after I think 4 interviews, it was a very long interview process. He the funny story is that I saw his desk. If you know Michael, he had a lot of papers usually piled up on his desk, and I thought, I can help this guy.
And did you?
I did.
You cleared off his
No.
desk?
That was actually his filing system.
Okay.
I think what I didn't know is I assumed, hey, they need another person to help around here because he's just having trouble keeping up with things, which was accurate, because it's too big of a job. The position that he
agency was
had,
really growing.
Who was
too.
growing? Yeah.
So, what location was the agency in when you came? Were you here in this building?
5402 Arapahoe Road, the remodeled Montgomery Ward Auto Repair Facility.
Okay, so your background was in counseling?
Yep.
And did you have a business background as well?
No, actually, no, I did not. I was had my master's in psychology and counseling psychology, and I had a background in business in that I had been an executive director for several smaller nonprofits, and when you work for small nonprofits, you do everything. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What lay people have you worked with over the years?
Oh gosh, like named specifically? So I like to say that Carol Mendelson and Todd Shannon were in office whenever I got hired. And I have worked with Cheryl Halpern, Julie Lieberman during the COVID pandemic. I'm going to miss people, what you have to know is that our board used to be 37 members, and now it is just at 25. But obviously some of the most memorable are lifetime board members Linda Garner, Ethel Zale, and then all of the different chairs, over the years. Michael Kaufman is the one who hired me as the CEO, where I elevated to the CEO, and then Randy Colin and some others. So a lot of different lay leaders over the years.
Have you worked with different committees over your time?
I'm on every committee.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
pretty much every board standing type committee, I have some role, either when I was the chief operating officer, before I became the CEO, or then as the CEO. I've sat on literally every committee.
Every committee. What programs and services have begun and evolved during your time with JFS?
So I love this question because you would think in a 15-year period it wouldn't be too many different things, but there actually are. Your mother helped me, Jean Weinfeld helped me to get our first thrift store open. And so that was around 2012. And it actually began and has ended in my tenure. The pandemic kind of did away with that. And then we did not have refugee services or adoption services by the time I had started, but there was a program called Big Pal that was winding down. And then our school-based services are where we had the most growth because we offered services for children with special needs through the agency, but we weren't actually going onto the campuses. And so now we have diagnostic testing and more speech-language pathology. We had occupational therapy at one time, but that has also ended. And then obviously the medical services that we're providing now. Currently, JFS is on a journey to become a federally qualified health center, and we opened our first primary care clinic March of 2024.
So tell me about the plans for the new facility.
The new facility that we just purchased in August is almost 4 times the size of our current space. It will bring all of our different services together under one roof. And when I say that, what I mean is we have a clubhouse. Oh, I didn't mention another thing that started and stopped is the planned clubhouse. And
What
then
is that?
also, it's a program for individuals with persistent and severe mental illness, where they get together and basically have a work order day. It gives them meaning and purpose in life, helps them stay out of hospitals, helps them to continue on their medications. And then also the special needs partnership had been at the Federation, and then it came over to JFS during my tenure too, and it's continued, but in a different capacity today too. You were saying that next.
But the health clinic, everything will be located in the one under one
at
roof?
our new building, we will have our second primary care clinic, which we'll have a total of 6 medical providers, 3 or 4 integrated behavioral health clinicians. We will have about 18,000 square feet just for therapy services. That includes a sensory gym, 5 play therapy rooms, a training area for interns with one-way mirrors, so that we can do some training. And then the food pantry will be almost 3 times the size. It'll, instead of having these different, individual refrigerators, it'll have walk-in fridges and freezers like Costco. And it's just a very more dignified experience. We'll have a little fitness center because if we're promoting health for all the clients that we serve, our own staff should probably also. The clubhouse will come into the building, and then we will have our very first dental clinic. That'll be
exciting.
in 27, 28.
Okay. And the building, it's set to open in 27, 28, or?
No,
it's 26,
January of
isn't it?
26.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. So the dental part will be a little bit later.
We're gonna plan for that a little
Okay.
bit later on. Oh, and the building will house a training center, a conference/training center. We always have to borrow space from somebody else if we host anything. That'll seat 200 people.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, that's very exciting. What other changes have occurred since you've been here?
I would say that one of the bigger things, even before the war broke out in Israel, is need to focus more on security. It has been at the top of all of our minds, in that the facility that we're in now has so many entrances and exits that the war itself brought it to light how unsecure we actually were here and at risk. Our campus does not have a gate, like a fence, on a perimeter fence. So we now have 3 officers watching different doors and entrances at the facility. So our new building will have the ability to have a much better security and one main entrance, to get in. So that's going to help. And then the food pantry will have its own entrance, but it'll be a secure vestibule too.
Sad, but that is reality.
It is sad. So some of the other things are that have occurred. What we did when I first started, and then with Michael and beyond, is a focus on infrastructure. So the agency, when I was about 55 people back in 2010, much smaller budget, and all the direct service staff did all the administrative things. So if there wasn't somebody to answer the phones, they would stop what they were doing and help answer the phones or do intake. And so I think one of the biggest things that I've done in my tenure is to start establishing that infrastructure. And so what that means is strategically hiring staff, developing databases to track outcomes and information, policies and procedures, for different things. And so when you have the infrastructure for an organization and you're running a little bit more, even as a nonprofit, but like a business, the staff feel more secure, they feel valued, appreciated, heard, and then they're able to focus on the direct care with the clients, and then the other people can focus on all the administrative stuff. And then I would say obviously the capital campaign and the new building, and then JFS becoming a federally qualified health center.
How much are you trying to raise for the new building?
So it's actually, for the building, it's a total of $28 million, but we're in a $40 million capital campaign. And we call it our Meeting the Moment campaign. It's about innovation, expansion, and endowment.
Mm-hmm.
The innovation piece is funding the first medical clinic and getting it off the ground. And that investment was about $3.5 million. And then also our annual campaign for this year, and then $28 million for the building, and then the balance of that is to go into endowment. We have a foundation right now that has about $5.5 million in it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll add to that, get us to around $12 million,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll need it, to basically support the cost of a bigger building.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What changes in the Jewish community occurred that influenced how JFS responded to community needs?
So I think something that was surprising for our own community is that poverty does exist. Here, even in Dallas, there are Jews who are struggling to feed themselves, who are struggling to, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and some of them are just on the fringes of, being homeless. And the fact that we as an organization needed a way to respond, both in emergency financial assistance and then also options for them. And then Holocaust survivors. So when Debbie Weiner was here, and before she retired, we had a total of 17 survivors that we were helping at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And JFNA helped to fund a
Who is
position.
JFNA?
Jewish Federations of North America.
Okay.
Helped to fund a position to focus on identifying other Holocaust survivors, because there was a belief that there was sort of some hidden ones here in the community. And what I mean by that is that in the 80s, there were a lot of individuals that came here from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And our community helped them during that time, helped them with resettlement during that time. And then they kind of went off on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they're all aging, and they need home health services, and they need a variety of things that they didn't before. And so we identified we're over 100 now of Holocaust survivors.
Identified 100?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That we are helping and assisting. So that was different. And then I would also say the sheer number of volunteers that we have here, and I don't mean just volunteers that come one time, or somebody, we appreciate all that, but in our Jewish community, people that come over and over and are like the trusted folks that keep our food pantry open and our kosher home delivered meals delivered, and I would say that's tremendous.
How many volunteers do you have on annual basis, or
it's
any
around
kind of number?
1,600, but we also do a better job of tracking that.
Yeah.
So we verified 1,600 of that. There's probably a good 300 or 400 that put in.
That are regulars?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
It is.
Who have been some of the key staff during your tenure?
So I've actually had a lot of the same staff for a good part of my time. They're starting to retire now.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Fleischer, he's who hired me and was my mentor, and we still stay in touch. Allison Harding, who was in charge of career services, Debbie Weiner, who was in charge of older adult services, Ariella Goldstein with clinical services, Robin Raxlin Gormley, she's been here just a bit longer than me, in charge of the food pantry and now special programs. Let me see. In the day, there was the Janine Pullmans, there was the Clara Lenetskis and Karen Hout, who was our office manager for a very long time during that. And Ruth Josenhans has been here most of my time. Deborah Liebensberger is running the program now. And then I can't not mention Daisel Sarte, she's been here 5 years, but she's been the driving force behind some of what we're doing with the medical services.
Okay. In relation to your time at JFS, of what are you most proud?
Being able to serve the sheer number of people that are coming to us for help, but not only just serving them, but we don't help the worried well. We help people who have very complicated situations, and being able to provide them or connect them with all of the different resources. And all our staff are licensed, credentialed, professional. I'm very proud of the fact that we've stayed true to that over the years. We're not trying to save money, in that area. We want to have the best services for all our clients, regardless of, if they can pay for it or not. But I'm really proud about being able to maintain all of this and then keep our finances, in good shape. We've grown. Just in the time since I took over as the CEO, we've gone from a $7.5 million agency to now close to $14 million. We've raised at this point around $33 million of a $40 million campaign. So there's a lot going on, but at the core of it all, we're doing what we are here for. We're serving our community.
Okay. What are some of the challenges you faced during your time with the agency? How did you react to COVID?
Well, so the challenges, I think that we were needed more than ever. I would say that the biggest challenges are that in the Dallas community, we've had more disasters and crazy things that have happened than should probably happen in a community. We had a tornado just a few years ago that hit a large portion of our Jewish community, and many people were impacted. We had an ice storm where all power in all of the state of Texas went out, and I had case managers sitting in their car charging batteries to call seniors to make sure that they were okay. And then, of course, we had the pandemic. And I would say that we really rose to the occasion. It's like you never know how you're going to respond in situations until it actually happens. And it was good to be a human service agency at that time because we could really give back.
How were you able to pivot to serve the community?
Well, being that the majority of our directors were not what we would call tech savvy, and then pivoting to being remote, a whole remote workforce in a matter of 3 days was tremendous. But the biggest thing that we'll be known for during the pandemic is our food pantry. We had we were the largest single day distribution site in the Dallas area during the pandemic, and our volunteers and staff, for social distancing purposes, had to be a drive-up pantry. We had 3 lines wrapped around the building, and we served 750 families in 3 hours or less every Thursday.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible. Do you have any memorable moments or highlights from your time with the agency that you haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I mean, mine are more simple. Mine are more what I like about the agency and stuff. So I miss, because we don't do this in the same way, and there's, some things have changed since the pandemic. Kitchen lunches, and those who know JFS and we're here for a long time, what that is at around the lunch hour, all of the different staff would assemble in the kitchen and literally assemble our lunches all together. There was sometimes standing room only, to find a seat. And it was just this sense of community, and I loved that. It changed. It didn't, hasn't stayed the same. So we're hoping, in our new building, we'll be able to build that back up. Drive-by visits. And what that is when we have time to just go pop into somebody's office and see how they're doing. And that's something that still today is one of my favorite things. And getting to be a part of celebrating, our successes together with the different staff. Maybe not just a personal success, but also professional, watching people be promoted over the years and really grow and get the skills that they need, and then them being a part of your own journey and lifting you up. The things that I remember most are about the people here.
Describe the value of JFS to the Dallas Jewish community.
There is nowhere else if you're Jewish, where you could come and receive these comprehensive services under one roof and know that we will provide them with cultural sensitivity. We will meet you where you're at, and it'll be confidential and from our hearts. We understand more than anybody what individuals are going through, and then particularly I would say our response, since the war broke out, you really don't know how somebody has been impacted or has family members or how they're thinking about the situation or are anxious or stressed. And so I would say that's sort of our sweet spot in our own community is you can come here and know that we're going to know you and we're going to understand and we're going to be able to respond effectively. And we also know if we don't know, and we'll get you connected, with somewhere. But my husband often says, he's like, it's so strange that people will just randomly email you, because I'll tell him, I'll get an email. I have a grandma or somebody, I live out of state, and they live in Dallas and they need maybe some assisted living. Where do I even start? And I love those emails. It doesn't bother me at all. But then they know that if they email me, we're going to get them connected. And so I feel like that's kind of, I don't know if that's what I put that I wanted to, but yeah, no, if you're in need, it's a safe place to go.
Yes, one last thing. What is something about JFS that is not commonly known that you want the community to know about and understand?
I mean, the Jewish community or the general community? Because for the general community, we always have to explain that we help all in need, and that we help people regardless of ability to pay. I think it's people are not aware that we help all ages, from ages 3 to, we say 103, but that's a tough question. What kind of answers have you got for that?
All kinds of things.
All kinds of, say it again, say it.
What is something about Jewish Family Service that is not commonly known that you want the community to know about or understand?
Well, my easiest answer is that we're pedaling as fast as we can. The staff here work harder and longer hours and are more dedicated than anywhere I've worked in all of my years. And they don't stop if they don't find the answers. They will keep pushing until they figure it out, because they know what it takes for someone to pick up the phone and call us and say that they need help. And so it doesn't matter who I am. I did it and I called, and so we're going to try to solve it for them. And so again, my answers come right back to our staff, who are amazing.
Anything else I haven't asked about that you'd like to touch on?
Well, since this is a historical thing, I don't know if anybody has talked about the famous chicken feet.
No, not to me.
Well, so we should make sure that this is recorded. So another favorite memory is our holiday parties. And years ago, somebody brought these candlesticks that look like chicken feet. And we do a white elephant gift exchange. And whoever gets the chicken feet has to display them proudly in their office for 1 year. And then they have to show back up to the holiday party. So that, even to this day, with all the staff transitions and different people, is a beloved thing. So I know that's strange, but it's
Okay,
beautiful.
You are the only one so far that has mentioned
we
that.
have to make sure we talk about the chicken feet. Yeah.
Okay, chicken feet are now mentioned. They're recorded for posterity. Thank you so much, Cathy, for everything you do and for sitting down with me today.
Thank you very much.